Donald Trump is a clear bigot and racist. He says Mexicans are rapists. Haiti is a shithole country, and he's very misogynistic. So, is decency important to you?
Actually, you're right. That does fit right in with my last answer. Trump, like, I'm not going to deny that Trump is a racist and a bigot and a sexist. He is all of those things. He is a disgusting asshole. But and I don't even think a lot of his own support, like as far as being like an asshole, I don't even think a lot of his own supporters would refute that. But no, he's a terrible person. He is a racist. He is a sexist. He is a bigot. But decency, I don't know if is he. What about decency? Well, to me that is just like another synonym, another word for like civility or decorum. That's why it perfectly fits in with your or with my answer to your previous question, because he doesn't differentiate that much on policy with other past and future presidents, past presidents and Joe Biden, because well, his policies right in line with them on a lot of most important issues. I'd argue most important issues, because, like, they both have the same. People say, like, oh, Trump doesn't take any money for his campaign. He took money. He's corrupt like the rest of them, and so their policies are in alignment with one another, from neoliberal Democrats to Republicans to Donald Trump as well. And so when you're not that much different, if at all, on policy, but everybody's screaming and crying about how you're tweeting or the tone of your voice, and as far as like but Trump's racist, he's bigoted, he's sexist. Isn't that different than the neoliberal Democrats? Well, Joe Biden was a literal segregationist. I mean, he was a literal architect of the '94 crime bill, which disproportionately incarcerated African Americans. His policies have been discriminatorily I don't know if that's a word. He have been massively discriminatory and racist and crushing to communities of color. I mean, he's a massive proponent, even to this day. He's a massive proponent for the war on drugs, which disproportionately target people of color, most specifically African Americans. Like, for example, whites and blacks use marijuana at the same rates. Yet black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for that same exact crime. That's a systemic problem of the war on. That's a systemic problem with the war on drugs and how it affects our system. Or if you look at the fact that black people are more likely to get the death penalty for the same exact crime. These are systemic racisms. Systemic. This is systemic racism in our country. It exists and it needs to be handled. But Joe Biden not only is not the solution to those problems, he actively he actively not only supports them, but in many cases, like the '94 crime bill, he's the reason for them. Mm-hmm. So, is Donald Trump like overtly racist? Is he overtly bigoted and sexist? Yes. But is Joe Biden inadvertently racist? Is he inadvertently sexist? Is he inadvertently bigoted? I would argue yes on policy. And so I would actually rather Trump come out and say, I'm a piece of shit, out in the open, so we all know, as opposed to Joe Biden, who's like civility and decorum. And I love, I'm a good person. I want to bring dignity back to America. I want, but then like goes out of his way to do all of the racist, bigoted, sexist shit that Trump would have done through policy, but pretending to be this completely, this completely moral actor. And that's what he basically ran his entire campaign on, was he was the more moral one. But that's the problem. Now you have all these brunch liberals who support Joe Biden and would never, because because they can't see past surface level exteriors, they support Joe Biden despite all of those racist, sexist, bigoted policies.
Absolutely. So the analogy I would use when comparing Joe Biden or any neoliberal Democrat to Donald Trump is an analogy my science teacher told me. He said, if you throw a frog in a pot of boiling water, it's going to jump out right away. But if you put a frog in cold water and slowly boil it, it can't jump out when it needs to because its muscles are all the way.
Yeah, no, that's a great saying. Yeah, the slow boiling pot is it can make it, yeah, exactly. It can make it worse than if you just up it all the way. The heat makes the frog jump out, but the slow boil, yeah, that's a great saying. I've heard that a few times. I like that one too.